The text came at 6:43 in the evening on a Thursday. It said there was a family meeting at 8 p.m. tonight, and that everyone must be there. I looked at my phone and felt a strange calm feeling inside me. It was like I already knew this moment was going to come. The word urgent was used, but I did not feel surprised at all. I even gave a small cold smile to myself. It had been 14 months since my wedding day, and it felt like a very long time had passed since I stopped expecting anything from my family. 14 months ago, I sent invitations to everyone in my family. I had called them, talked to them, and asked them to come to my wedding. But they all said no in different ways. My sister Madison told me that my wedding was not really their style because it was in a backyard. My brother Andrew said it was not worth the drive for something so simple. My mom wrote in an email that an outdoor wedding was not special enough for them. My dad never replied at all, not even once. That silence hurt the most because I thought at least he would say something. My wedding day still stayed in my memory, like a beautiful picture. It was a warm evening, and everything looked soft and golden in the sunset light. I had worked very hard to make that day special. There were white roses everywhere, like clouds of flowers. Lights were hanging from old oak trees, shining gently when the sun went down. 50 guests came, and they were all smiling and happy. My husband Ryan stood next to me, holding my hand tightly. We said our vows while the sky turned orange and pink. Our friends cried happy tears and clapped for us. It felt perfect to me, even if my family was not there. But not a single person from my blood family came. Not my mom, not my dad, not my sister, and not my brother. At that time, I told myself it was okay. I tried to be strong. I told myself that maybe they were just busy or did not understand. But deep inside, it still hurt a lot. I will never forget it. Now, more than a year later, suddenly there was an urgent meeting. I already had a feeling. I knew why. That morning, something big had happened. A TV show came to my house and filmed it. It was a show about beautiful and expensive homes. They showed my lakefront estate, which was very large and peaceful. It had gardens, trees, water, and many rooms that had been fixed and made beautiful again. On the show, they talked about how my property was 12 acres wide. They said it was worth $5.5 million. They also explained that I had bought it years ago for $1.8 million when it was old and damaged. I had spent years fixing it and making it beautiful again. The cameras even filmed my wedding garden, the same place where I had gotten married. Everything looked magical on television. By the afternoon, the video had become very popular online. Everyone was talking about it. By noon, my phone was full of messages. Some were from my family, people I had not heard from in a long time. Suddenly, they all wanted to talk to me. It felt strange, like a door that was closed for years had suddenly been opened again. I read the messages, but I did not feel excited. I just replied simply that I would come to the meeting. At 7:58 p.m., I arrived at my family house in my car. When I looked at the driveway, I saw many expensive cars parked there. It almost looked like a car show. My sister's car was there, my brother's car, and even my aunt's car. I took my bag and walked slowly to the front door. I could feel my heart calm, like I was walking into something I had already finished in my mind a long time ago. My mom opened the door quickly when I arrived. She smiled in a way that felt too sweet, almost like she was trying very hard. She said, "Tracy, you're here? Everyone is waiting for you." I walked inside and saw the living room was full. My family was all sitting there. My mom, my dad, my sister Madison and her husband, my brother Andrew and his fiancée, my aunt, my uncle, and my cousin were all there. Every single one of them was looking at me. My aunt smiled and said, "There's our TV star. That house is amazing." I did not smile back. I just stood still. I remembered clearly how, just a year ago, they had all said my house was a waste of money. My dad spoke first in a serious voice and told me to sit down. He said they needed to talk. But I told them I would stand. I placed my bag on the table and asked what this urgent meeting was about. My brother started talking first. He said they had all seen the TV show and that my house looked incredible. I said thank you, but I stayed quiet and waited. My dad then said slowly that the house was worth $5.5 million and asked if I was in debt. My mom leaned forward and said they were worried I might owe too much money. My uncle even said that people my age usually cannot own something like that without loans. My sister said softly that they just wanted to help me. I listened to all of them, and I remembered how none of them believed in me before. I asked them a simple question. Before talking about money, I asked them why none of them came to my wedding. The room became very quiet. No one answered right away. I reminded them that I had invited everyone many times. I had called them and asked them myself. But they all said it was not important enough. My sister tried to explain that they thought it was too simple and not special enough. My brother said they did not know. I looked at them and asked what they did not know. I told them they thought my wedding was just a small backyard event. But that backyard was actually my estate. I told them I had invited them many times, but they did not listen or believe me. They had chosen not to come. Then I slowly opened my bag and placed papers on the table. I showed them the deed to the house. I told them I owned it fully, with no debt at all. My uncle picked up the paper and looked shocked. I showed another paper, which was the latest value of the estate. It had gone up to $6.2 million. My family went silent again. Their faces looked surprised and confused. Then I showed more papers. I told them I also had a company that built and restored big homes. My brother looked closely and saw that the company was worth almost $25 million. The room became even quieter. No one knew what to say. It felt like all their ideas about me were breaking apart in their minds. I then told them something else. My wedding, the one they all skipped, cost $180,000. The flowers alone cost $15,000. There was a famous chef, a live music group, and many beautiful decorations. My sister's face turned very pale. She said I had told them it was casual. I explained that casual did not mean cheap. It meant small, personal, and full of love, not a big fancy hotel party. I showed them pictures on my phone. They saw me in my wedding dress, standing in the garden. They saw the flowers, the lights, the cake, and everything else. My family looked shocked. Someone whispered that they did not know it was like that. I told them I had told them everything before, but they had not believed me. They had decided it was not important enough to care. My dad finally said that if they had known, they would have come. I looked at him and felt sad.
I told them that was the problem. They would only come if they thought something was expensive or important in their eyes. But they did not come because it mattered to me. My mom tried to say that was not true, but her voice was very soft. I told them I had gone to their events before, even when they were small or not fancy. I went because they were my family. I reminded them that family means showing up for each other, even when things are simple. Even when you do not fully understand. The room stayed quiet again. No one argued anymore. In the end, I told them something very important. I said they did not know all of this because they never asked. They never truly wanted to understand my life. They only made guesses. And now, all I wanted was honesty and care, not sudden interest because of money or fame. The room stayed silent, and no one had an answer to that. I pulled out more papers and spread them out on the table like playing cards. Each paper showed a building or property I owned. Riverside property in downtown was worth $3.8 million. Another one was Willow Creek Manor, worth $2.1 million. There was also the Hartley Building, worth $4.2 million. Then there was Riverside Inn, worth $1.9 million. I kept placing more papers down slowly, one after another. Garden District properties were worth $6.7 million. Lakefront cottages were worth $2.3 million. A beautiful Tracy mansion was worth $3.4 million. The room became very quiet. Everyone was staring at the numbers. Uncle Paul started counting fast on his fingers. He looked shocked and confused at the same time. His face turned pale. That's more than $25 million, he said. Then he tried again. No, it's almost $29 million. He could not believe it. Then I placed one last paper on top of everything. It was my company report. It said North Star Portfolio. Total assets, $52.3 million. Net worth, $44.2 million. No one spoke. The room felt frozen like time had stopped. Diane whispered very softly, 44 million. It sounded like she could not even believe her own voice. I looked at everyone calmly. I was not angry. I was not smiling. I just looked serious. My company is doing well, I said. And I personally have about $31 million. I paused a little. Then I added, not bad for someone you thought was a failure, right, Dad? My father did not answer. He just stared at me like he did not know me anymore. My mother looked nervous. My uncle looked down at the floor. I continued speaking. Next month, Forbes magazine will put me on the cover, I said. It will say Young Entrepreneurs in Historic Preservation. I closed my briefcase slowly. The sound of it clicking shut was very loud in the quiet room. Then I asked, so why are we here today? I looked at them one by one. You saw me on TV, I said. Now you know I'm successful. So now you want something from me. My mom tried to speak quickly. That's not true. Don't lie, I said softly but firmly. My voice was calm, but it made everyone stop. Tell me the real reason, I said. My father finally spoke. He looked tired, like he had not slept in many nights. Our business is struggling, he said quietly. We need help. How much? I asked. $500,000, Uncle Paul answered. For dealership expansion, he added. They all looked at me like I would say yes. Like money would fix everything. My mom stepped forward a little. We are family, she said. Family helps each other. I looked at her face. I remembered something very painful. I remembered my wedding day. I remembered sitting and waiting for my family to come. But they never came. Not one of them. I remembered the empty chairs. I remembered how I kept smiling even though my heart was breaking. I remembered crying alone later that night. My voice became quiet. You want to talk about family? I asked. They all stayed silent. I took a breath and continued. You know what I did on my wedding night? I said. I walked in the garden with my husband Ryan. I cried because my family did not show up. My mom's eyes filled with tears right away. My dad looked down at the ground. I did not stop. Ryan's family came from many states, I said. Even his grandmother came with a walker. She was very old, but she still came. I looked at them again. That is what family does, I said. They show up. I took out my phone. I opened a picture. I placed it on the table. It was my wedding table. There were empty chairs all around. No one from my family was there. Just empty space. I set this up hoping you would come, I said. I really hoped. My voice shook a little, but I stayed strong. My husband wanted to remove the empty chairs so I would not be hurt, I said. But I kept them. My mother started crying quietly now. Do you know how it felt? I asked. Everyone saw that empty table. Everyone saw that my family was missing. I looked at them carefully. That is the truth, I said. The room was very quiet again. Then I said something softer. Later that night, Ryan's family moved their chairs to my table, I said. They filled the empty space. I smiled a little, remembering it. By the end of the night, I was not alone anymore. My aunt whispered, That is beautiful. I nodded. Yes, I said. Because they showed up. I put my phone back in my pocket. Then I said, I learned something important that day. I looked at my family. Family is not just blood, I said slowly. Family is the people who care enough to be there. My father stood up slowly. Tracy, he said. Please. If the business fails, everything will be gone. I looked at him. I did not feel angry anymore. I just felt sad. I walked toward the door. I stopped and turned back one last time. You know what I wanted? I asked. They looked at me. I wanted my mom to help me pick my wedding dress, I said. I wanted my dad to walk me down the aisle. I wanted my sister to stand next to me. I wanted laughter and love. My voice stayed calm, but my heart felt heavy. But none of you came, I said. Silence filled the room. Then I asked one last question. If I did not appear on TV, would you have come to see me today? No one answered. That silence told me everything. I opened the door. I cannot be your money box, I said softly. I am a person. Then I left. Behind me, I heard voices calling my name. I heard my mother crying. I heard chairs moving. But I did not stop. Outside, my phone started buzzing again and again. Text messages came in fast. Please don't leave us. We are sorry. We need you. But none of them asked how I felt. None of them said sorry for the wedding. So I did not reply. I typed one message to my father. Money did not change me, I wrote. It just made you see me. Then I blocked all their numbers. I got into my car and drove away. The road felt long and quiet. When I reached my home, it was peaceful. It was a big, beautiful estate, worth $6.2 million. But it did not feel like just money. It felt like peace. My husband Ryan was waiting outside. He stood under the warm lights and smiled when he saw me. How did it go? He asked gently. Just like I expected, I said. He opened his arms and hugged me. I am proud of you, he said. We went inside. The house smelled like flowers and dinner cooking. Our dog ran to me happily, wagging its tail. I saw our wedding photos on the walls. All the smiles. All the happy moments. Then my phone buzzed again. It was an unknown number. I opened it. It was my Aunt Rebecca. She wrote, Some of us really miss you. Not for money. Just because we love you. I stared at it for a moment. Then I replied, If that is true, then show up. She answered quickly, This Sunday. I will come. That Sunday she came. She brought flowers and homemade pie. She did not ask for money. She did not talk about business. She just sat with me and talked like a real family member. It felt calm. It felt honest. It was not perfect, but it was real. It was a small beginning. After that, I did not talk to most of my family again. My life moved forward. My company finished a big hotel project worth $12 million. Forbes wrote about me again. People started calling me successful. But I already knew something more important than success. Ryan and I traveled to Italy for our second wedding anniversary. We walked by the sea and held hands. I felt peaceful inside, because I had learned something very important. The real family is not the people who are related to you. A real family is the people who show up when you need them. And the people who only come when they want something. They are not truly family.
अंधेरी दीवारों में खुद को ढूंढता हूँ मैं। ये जो दिन सहाने थे उन्हीं को सोचता हूँ मैं। तुम्हारे बिन ये मौसम भी बड़ा बेसर्द लगता है। दिल का हर एक कोना अब बहुत ही दूर बढ़ता है। अंधेरी दीवारों में खुद को ढूंढता हूँ मैं। ये जो दिन सुहाने थे उन्हीं को सोचता हूँ मैं। तुम्हारे बिन ये मौसम भी बड़ा सर्द लगता है। दिल का हर एक कोना बहुत ही दर्द भरता है। मेरे साए भी मुझसे अब जुदा होने को कहते हैं। तुझे खोने की राहों में ये आंसू बहने लगते हैं। कहाँ जाऊं कहाँ ढूंढूं मेरा वो साजो सामा तो मेरी हर एक तमन्ना तू। मेरी रूह का मकां तू। लकीरों में नहीं लिखा जो तुमने ख्वाब देखा था। वफा की इस कहानी में फकत एक गम ही लिखा था। सितारों से भी पूछता है पता तेरा कहाँ होगा। मगर खामोश है दुनिया कहाँ मेरा जहाँ होगा। बस एक बार मुड़ के देख ले मेरी बेबसी की सूरत। मुझे है आज भी तेरी वफा की सख्त जरूरत। साए मेरे तन्हा सफर बस रह गया दर्द का असर। साए मेरे तन्हा सफर बस रह गया दर्द का असर।